Rolling.
Says in a normal sense, take one, scene one. In the normal sense, it did not make us crazy in the normal sense. But there was always a blanket of struggle to our lives, at least I remember it that way, with always hiking, not running, but trying to get there faster walking. And we knew we were always walking a long way, at least I did. At least I felt that way, and felt that way as that was what I was made to feel. Dad said I made him feel some way about the garden, like because I didn't want to work his flowers, I didn't love him. In love songs, I heard about how people made them feel. We had it like that in those songs, as if it was okay. I read the short story in the college short story collection. Some girl wrote about a tomcat getting on top of her for sex as a lover. I got it. It was clear enough. I was a bit confused, wondering about what the college was really like. She must have been an outsider. There was the band of leather and motorcycle long hairs singing Salty Dog on the main street when they opened the bar full of dried wood and dust, and I saw it right there, an early glimpse of the revolution. The main guy, like other main guys, had the right black leather vest, a black beard, and a black helmet, and a black Triumph. He'd be going somewhere same time as me, 6 o'clock or 6:30 a.m. up the hill by the railroad tracks, trailing vapor like a high bomber and jets. We weren't crazy by normal standards at all, just wary and oppressed, knowing we lived in a town of enemies. Every day pushed into a fight. At least for me it was that way. I told my brother it was okay to deny he was related. One day he just stopped being the happy one. A couple of years ago, I got to be real glad my father had the opportunity in the war to kill the enemy. Nazis were as much as enemies as they were enemies of the Jews. He was really bi later on after he was married. He said it was great for the first 7 years, and then there were 7 more. He volunteered for what they call conversion therapy now. It's just stupid, and you never ought to let enemies see you weakened. You'll never make anyone happy. You're not the bank for their feelings. The poor guy with the lobotomy that wandered the streets showed me about the girls no better than the boys. I saw them on the side street, having caught him out alone. They held up what they had of breast and catcalled to his faraway and terror-stricken face. With laughter and delight, his pained and confused face the writ of the horrors of a scrambled mind. They'd been serious about fixing that man. Didn't they start with an ice pick in your brain? They went after the thinking part. They weren't joking about the nonconformist, where you have a bad attitude with Hoover and death from above, or some righteous claim on whatever way someone else walked. It was all to be fixed for their feelings. It did not make us crazy in the normal sense, us kids, brother and sisters, not born in town when then their babies, but targets as soon as seen in town, where there was no way to drive so fast, to even be a stranger that way. From the first day at school, there was a tight clique that all reported their discoveries back to, on the TV. Peyton Place looked like a better neighborhood. Some did what was a distraction while another smashed you in the balls from behind. from behind, they would come or attack your sister. We were having fun there with the rest in the snow at the town hall, perfect for sledding, like in those prints. Dusty brown paper that you know will crack easy. We were not going to be allowed to have fun with the rest of them, and we're only part as a part. So you make me feel anger, and have put it in me, a bank of feelings. Wary, I hear every bump and have the necessary weapons, along with some for ceremonies. I know where the South is all the time. Someone thinks I deserve to be hurt, and around me it's assumed they are my betters. Don't hurt their feelings. You are their bank, and they can draw on your life for their piggy bank of emotional needs. They must be looked up to. Their family has been here a long time. They were there owning everything before you. They get more rights for that. You are an invader. Mom and Dad had the cars and were somewhere else. There were pancakes. Oh boy. Spaghetti. And I want a meatball. We didn't turn out crazy like the funniest clown of the class, who I was told in hushed tones by the sheetrocker who drank 2 6-packs of Coke a day. He hung himself in jail. Something about he set fire to a house. I one time called in my 30s to the guy that had opened that first real bar on Main Street. He said he was old and bald then. I think some things were really getting confusing again. I was happy alone and videotaped it. Not at all crazy in comparison to the mob, like some hostile village. As if a Jew in Europe during the plague, that must be same for invading from the north. A rally, rally! Give him hell, give him the rebel yell. The suicide led the team. I was always picked last. There was the most beautiful baseball field of weathered wood. It was a magical place now gone. Everything and everybody was real close, like nature made it to be, so you could be watched till out of sight in the woods or farm roads and whatever else, a mystery of dirt roads by fields where insects were loud. I don't really remember talking with Mom, and it felt like something was wrong with Dad, no matter what. Lighting the grill was the best thing ever. Us kids watched our parents drink, and we took turns throwing the match on the gasoline-soaked briquettes, a word on a bag. It must have been gourmet charcoal. Hadn't come along yet. We got meat and equal shares of Coke. So I feel all right, not buying all their lies and not opening my heart to the lies and myths from people that would be surprised at the concept of peeping Tom. Commode head they called the girl that looked like Ava Gardner. There was all this hate that spread like peanut butter on bread in the commercials, so thick it was hard for the actor kid to hold it to his smiling face. Hit him. You don't even need to hear the story of the circles they make. I can hardly remember a conversation I was glad I had with anyone I knew. There weren't that many around. And when you saw anybody, they hit you or pulled the trigger on their .22 rifle repeatedly, staring. They all came over to a summertime kids party, like as if they were friends because you were supposed to be friends. And they beat me up. There is a good pile of anonymity and as is best in Cary. Everybody is in their condo or just in. Better everywhere to only know the people at work, see some at a well-lit bar with tables and servers, and stay in the isolated world of TVs and cars. Good weather for driving goes by over and over, some faster foot who think signaling is too much trouble and just as is at flooring it, racing, and the races to the burials, the memorial service, somewhere in another state. People know about you as here now, Yankees making expensive drugs in the software campus. The money came from up north, they could see it, making all the world look like Stanford or RIT. I saw my hometown a few years ago. Everywhere I went looked more beautiful or more ugly, like the prettiest trees died and were never replaced. Willow trees had still been growing, and they needed lots of water. The maples were gone. There was a parking lot where the yard used to be, and an apartment building where we had a wild place of ours we needed. The college had succeeded in sucking the life out of the town around it. The rest, for 50 miles in two directions, could only be painted on 70 to overcome its ugliness. I'm sorry, since there are great swaths of reality not ever to be escaped by all strangers and one dumb fate after another. Only destiny and fantasy of better somewhere else keeps us from the normal crazy of the sterling reverse O. Henry. I didn't know you were beautiful, Commode Head. I knew the town was mean and hated blacks and Yankees, and we were good enough from somewhere else. A bad attitude, near a sneer, sad for all that didn't get out of town, if only 50 miles, and long later, when it seemed same as ever, was over and over, going backwards towards 1348 in France with priests selling dispensations because everybody's dying. There are people with real investments in your sins. You made them feel angry, so they get to burn you at the stake and take all your things. They will succeed at running you out of town. We freed the slaves, and now we just rent them, as if we was them, giving permission since the Yankees left, and there were reasons blacks didn't. We. They get so happy when their team wins, you'd think it mattered. It would be unfitting to just pay for them to bounce the ball or hurt each other strategically. So everything is built up on fraud and appearances. I'd rather go to a strip joint and think we need one in this town I live in. I went to the one in Little Rock where the girls dance in a boxing ring, which must mean something about that capital town. So it is late in the history of the world for my studies as a scholar. A scholar, I can declare myself, no easy books out of me. The easy ones, not even the heartbroken photographs and captions. Beauty is truth, which feels better? The lies that you pay for, or unnoticed, what is missing?